Hi everyone, this is Miss Hill, and today's just a quick little refresher on Standard 4G1. If you follow the Georgia Standards of Excellence, this one is made as a quick little mini lesson slash refresher for my fourth grade students. Considering right now we have remote learning going on, so let's jump right into it. The standard says that the student should be able to draw points, lines, line segments, rays, angles, including right, acute, and obtuse, and perpendicular and parallel lines, and identify these in two-dimensional figures. Alrighty, so without further ado, I'm just going to kind of explain what points, rays, lines, and line segments are, or what they look like. And then in my last video, I did focus on perpendicular and parallel lines as well as intersecting, in which perpendicular is a form of intersecting. And then we did identify those types of lines in two-dimensional figures. So today we'll kind of identify those points, lines, line segments, and rays in 2D figures. All right, so what you see, and I'm going to highlight it, we'll use green. We're going to look at point N, and it is just what it says. It's just a dot. Looks like a period, a circle, a filled in circle. So this is point N, and it is literally just a little dot, a little circle, and you'll eventually see it on a figure and be able to identify it or draw your own. And then a line segment has 2 points, one on each end, and you just have a straight line between the points. So we would call this line segment TK because it starts with point T and it ends with point K. Now, a ray looks very similar to a line segment. However, there's an arrow at one end, not on both ends, but at one end there's an arrow. So this is ray EZ, and you can see that the arrow is at the end of point Z, and that just means that this ray will continue going in this direction. Now, similar to a line segment and a ray, a lot similar to a ray is an actual line. And with the line, it has arrows on both ends. It has 2 points, and it also has an arrow at the end of each point, meaning it continues to go on forever and ever, nonstop, indefinitely. So this is line AB. So it's pretty simple. So let's practice a little bit. So this is draw and label point P. So let me get my little drawing utensil here. All right, so if I want to do a point, basically I'm just going to make a dot, and I should probably use the highlighter because it's a lot better. So, boom. That is just a dot, and it is considered a point in geometry, and I have to label it as P. So let me find my little typing tool, and we're just going to call this P. So this is point P. Let's see if I can move that a little bit. And if you refer back, point N just had the words point and N, and you can see the dot in the end. So this is point P. Now, next we're supposed to draw and label line segment LM. So that means it's going to begin with L and end with M. Now recall with the line segment, you just have a line with a point on each end. So I'm going to start with my line here. Use purple. Just make it a little smaller. And that's not perfect, but we get the point. Let me make my little points noticeable here too. I may do them a little bigger. Let's go up a size. Point, point. And then I need to label. So let's label. This is going to be L, and that is going to be M. So this is line segment LM. Recall that there are no arrows and there's a point at each end, meaning that it's not going to continue going in either direction. All right. So now it's asking me to draw and label line QT. So remember that a line is actually different from a line segment. A segment is just a piece of a line, just a part of it. So this time we're going to need points and arrows on both ends. So let's change my color a little bit. Let's try a lighter blue. I'm going to make my line a little smaller this time too. So here's my line, and no, it's not perfect. You know what? Let's try to make it perfect, or as perfect as it can get. I think this is my, oh, here's my line drawing tool. I should have used this from the beginning. All right, so, ooh, look at there. All right, so right now we just have what appears to be a line, and I need to add, let's get that pretty blue back that I wanted. Uh-oh, let's take the shape off. All right. So now I am going to highlight, use my highlighter tool, that pretty blue, and let's get my points on here, and I need to label them. First one Q, the other one T. Made me think about the store, QT. All right, and then I'm missing something. I need arrows, and I probably should have used the line tool that had the arrows here, but I will make it work. I'll draw them on here. So let's do an arrow here and an arrow there. And now we have the line QT. And with the line QT, I need arrows and I need points. If you forget, refer back. Line segment, I'm sorry, line AB has 2 points and 2 arrows, and the points are labeled. All right, QT has 2 points and 2 arrows, and the points are labeled. All right, so I will let you pause the screen here, and you try it on your own. You draw and label point T, draw and label line segment BD, and draw and label line JK. So pause here, and then once you play again, you'll hear me showing you the proper way to do all 3. So give it a pause. All right, if you just hit play, I'm going to show you what you should have done for the next 3 items, and you can kind of grade yourself or gauge to see how well you're doing, to see if you've got this. It's pretty simple. So draw and label point T. I'm drawn to the color orange, so keep in mind that a point is just a dot and that we must label. So that is point T. Now line segment BD, line segments have 2 points, 1 on each end, and they are labeled. No arrows though. And for some reason we're missing Ray, but I'll go back and add Ray. Keep in mind that a ray has a point, actually 2 points, and at one of the points there's an arrow to extend to mean that it goes further. But back to line segment BD. So let's find my little line drawer here. And line segment, there we go. There's a line, and then I need my highlighter tool, point on each end. That means it's just part of a line. Segment means part, piece of. All right, and then I need to label. So this is B, and that is D. So if you did that, you are correct. And then line JK. So I'm going to need a line, I'm going to need arrows, and I'm going to need points, and I'm going to have to label. So let's do this the easy way. For the first, oh, look at there. I should have did that initially, but I like authenticity as well. So all right, we have our arrows. I need to make sure my points are here on either end or both ends. Let's use this pretty lavender. So point here, point there, and I need to label them J, K. So if you did those that way, you are correct. Congratulations, you understand. All right, let's move on. Now I want to kind of insert a page really quickly because here we go. We left off rays. So I want to make sure that you know how to draw a ray. So if we refer back to our initial slide, a ray is just, it's like a line segment with one arrow at the end. So let's go back to our rays. Angles is next. So if I wanted to draw, let's just say, let's type something in here so you'll know what to expect. Draw ray, we'll say RS. So we're going to draw ray RS. And that means, let me find my cute little drawing utensil. There's only going to be one arrow. Remember that. It's a pretty big ray. Now, I do still need my 2 points. So let me use my highlighter tool. I'll use pink. So here and here near the arrow, and then I need to label. So this is RS. And then you can practice by drawing your own rays as well. Let me give you one that you can kind of practice with. Let's say draw ray CD. So you can pause here. All right, if you just hit play, I'm about to show you the proper way to draw ray CD, and I'm just going to kind of freehand this one. So I need a line, I need a point, I need another point, I need an arrow at the end, and I need to label CD. And you could have done this several ways. Like I could have had a diagonal line. And as long as I label properly. So that's a ray. All right, let's move on. Angles. Angles was in my last video. And I just want to remind you that a right angle has, well, if you can see here, 2 rays coming out of 1 point, and it forms a 90-degree angle. And that makes like a perfect letter L, perfect corner or edge of a square rectangle. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Let's see if I can type that in. Really small. Less than 90 degrees. So it's pretty small, in case you forgot. And it still has 2 rays coming out of a point. And then an obtuse angle, let's change our color a little bit. It's the larger one, and it's going to measure greater than 90 degrees. All right, so let's just do a quick little practice. The directions say for 1 and 2, the first 1 and 2, the first column, add a second ray to create 2 right angles below. All right, so let's find my trusty little drawing utensil. 1 arrow, please. And here we are. That's a 90-degree angle. And this one is a little diagonal, so let's see if I can get it to be, I think that's about right. All right, so that would be 2 90-degree angles, also known as 2 right angles. Now the second column says add a second ray to create 2 acute angles below. So I want this to be smaller than these 2 angles. So here goes. Alrighty, there's an array that I just added to form an acute angle that is definitely less than a 90-degree angle, which would have been straight up. And then here, Another one that is smaller than 90 degrees, smaller than a right angle. So, and then our last column says add a second ray to create two obtuse angles below. So that's going to be larger than a 90-degree angle. Let's change the color here. Let's try this one. All right, so I'm going to go straight out. And that is definitely wider than a 90-degree angle. So that is obtuse. And then let's play around a little bit. That is, we'll leave it here. That's also obtuse, larger than 90 degrees. And then also on my last lesson, we talked about types of lines. You have intersecting lines, and then you have a special type of intersecting line called a perpendicular line. They form right angles when they intersect, and then parallel lines never intersect. They just kind of run alongside each other. All right. So I want to send a huge thank you to Math is Fundamental from Teacher Pay Teachers. Please follow that company on Teacher Pay Teachers. This video would not be possible without them. And if you want more practice with parallel, perpendicular, and intersecting lines, please refer to my last video. Thank you so much for watching.